Howdy folks, and welcome to Board Game Night, even though it's not night, it's the middle of the afternoon. Today we are playing another glorious day in the Corps. This is obviously based around the movie Aliens. I am joined by incompetent camera minion Eddie.
Hello.
And Rita the Portuguese judge.
Howdy do.
Where today we're each going to be controlling one of the characters from the movie. In the first mission, of which there are, well, technically 3 campaign missions, plus 3 separate bug hunts and an optional rescue mission. If anybody gets captured and taken away by the aliens, you can attempt to free them or just leave them to die. It's entirely up to you. But the first mission that we're going to be playing today is Mission 1, Newt, where the squad of Marines plus Ripley have just arrived at Hadley's Hope on LV 426. They're investigating why the colony has stopped transmitting, and we are trying to find young Newt and Rebecca Jordan, who, as you can see in the map of the colony here, is represented by one of these 4 motion tracker blip tokens. We do not know which one Newt is. The other 3 will be aliens. So the way this works, very basically, is you get to move your characters around and attempt to complete the mission objective, which in this case is find a Newt and then get at least Newt and as many Marines as possible to the exit. What would normally happen in a game of Another Glorious Day in the Corps is that at the end of every turn you start revealing motion tracker cards for every character that you play. But because this is the first mission, that will not start happening until the turn dial reaches turn 3. At that point we'll have to start dealing with multiple alien spawns, which can appear from spawn point 1, 2, 3 or 4. Note, there's one right next to the exit.
That's a bastard.
Yeah, it is a bit of a bastard. Now there are, and we won't go into great detail because we'll just show it as it happens, but there are multiple different things that you can do. The way it works is you start with the Marine phase. The first Marine to go is always the one with the highest rank, which in this case is going to be Lieutenant Scott Gorman, who is being played as a hero character by Eddie. You can choose whether or not to actually activate Lieutenant Gorman or pass the activation marker on to one of the other players. Depending on the tactical situation on the board, that might be a good idea. But again, we'll deal with that when it comes to it. The first thing that you always do at the start of the Marine turn, and this will become more obvious later after we start shooting, is reset your aim dial. Every character has an aim skill. So at the beginning of the turn, you take your pulse rifle aim dial tracker and you set it to that character's aim skill. Then, if that character has any abilities that happen when he or she is activated, you resolve those activation abilities. Then, and we'll come on to the endurance cards later, you can equip any endurance cards from your hand, and then you may perform up to 2 actions. Move, attack, barricade, aim, interact with an object on the board, like the computer token over here, use an action from one of the cards in your hand, or just rest to recycle cards from the exhaust pile back into the endurance deck. Again, more on that later. Then you can resolve all end of activation abilities as dictated on your character card. You can then use your rank to activate grunts. Now this is important because, as you can see, we have 6 player tokens. We have Vasquez, Gorman, Ripley, Hudson, Frost and Hicks, but we only have 3 players. This is because Marine characters, Ripley is not a Marine character, she's a civilian, can activate grunts based on their rank. So Lieutenant Gorman, for example, because he's a lieutenant, can activate up to 3 grunts every turn. That's not 3, that's 4. Can activate up to 3 grunts every turn. And this is where the difference between the player characters and the non-player characters comes in. Because each character on their character card, it's double-sided. You've got the grunt side, which has slightly worse stats, and the hero side, which indicates that they're being played by a player. We also have these, and by the way, there's a lot of stuff that you see in here that did not actually come with the game, like these activation tokens, for example. The green side up on the card lets you know that that character has not yet been activated. Once it's been activated, you flip it over to the red side to indicate that you've already used, because we're constantly losing track of who's done what and so on and so on. So these were an aftermarket thing that I got from Etsy. I'll put the link to the various different stuff that we've got here in the video description. Also, these two holders for the motion tracker and the endurance cards. I also got these from Etsy because the one thing that comes with the game itself is just a tiny little strip of cardboard. It's completely
And
useless.
it's crap.
It is crap. These are way better. And again, I got these from Etsy, where you can buy all kinds of aftermarket stuff for your board games. But I feel like I'm starting to get lost in the weeds here, and I think it's better to just show you rather than tell you. So we're going to crack on with the first turn of the first mission in Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Corps. Rescue Newt.
Okay, so it's me to go first.
Yes, because you control the highest ranked Marine character. So we have
And
the
I have to
activation
start.
token.
Also something that came...
Yeah, the activation. That's all. Yeah, also an aftermarket accessory that came with the grunt activation tokens. But there is a Bug Stompers card token that comes with the game to represent the activation token. But
that's
just
cooler.
way cooler having a pulse rifle. Yeah.
Right. Well,
So Marine phase. First thing that you always do is reset your aim dial. But since nobody's actually fired anything yet, you don't need to do that. Okay, that's cool. Now, since you are activating, you may choose to pass the activation token to somebody else. Or not.
I don't think I will. What I really want to do is get Gorman to the computer terminal.
So he can start using the computer to reveal what's on the other side of those blips.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to do now is, following the step-by-step on your player guide, is resolve any on activation abilities indicated on his player card.
He doesn't have any on activation
Okay.
abilities, so you can skip that bit. Equip any endurance cards. I don't have any endurance cards. It's
Correct.
the first go. Step 4, perform 2 actions.
So,
He has a movement. He has a speed of 4, so he can move 4 spaces.
yep.
He can move in any direction, including diagonally.
Yep.
However, do you want to explain this bit?
Sure. These rounded bits on the edges of doors block diagonal movement. So in order to get to there, you would have to first move to here. For example, Vasquez here, that is not one move.
I see.
She'd have to move 1, 2.
Got it.
Anything with a white line around a black boundary is a solid object. You can't move through it, you can't see through it, you can't attack through it.
Can I shoot through it?
These ones, these ones block movement, but you can shoot over them.
All right.
This is not see, these are black boundaries. That is
Yeah.
not a black boundary; it's a white boundary. So
Alright.
that's a desk. You can see over it, you can shoot over it, but you
just
can't
can't go
move
over it.
through it. You have to
Alright.
move around it. So Gorman's movement. First of all, flip Gorman's activation token over to indicate that he has now been activated.
Yep.
And now you're going to move him, I presume. What's his speed? 4.
4, so I'm going to move him 8 if I'm honest with
So
you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he's next to the computer terminal. He can't do anything yet because he's used 2 actions to get that far.
Yeah, he's used 2 actions.
Okay, so he's now performed up to 2 actions. Does he have any end of activation?
He does. Draw 2 endurance cards.
Okay, so this endurance deck, which I should probably show you right now. This endurance deck with a reshuffle token at the bottom, this represents everything that you do. So every time you fire a weapon, you have to exhaust endurance cards. Every time you perform card actions, you usually have to pay an endurance card cost. And when we run out of endurance cards, and when we use them, they go to the exhaust pile. When we have to discard cards, if ever there are no cards left in the endurance deck, and you have to instead exhaust cards in order to do things, they come from the exhaust deck and they go into the discard pile, and we never get them back.
Okay. I'll try to remember.
Which means that when this endurance deck starts running low, you can't shoot. There's all sorts of things that you can't do. You do have ways of getting cards back into the endurance deck, recycling them from the exhaust pile. Like, for example, Ripley's on activation ability allows it to recycle 2 endurance cards every time Ripley activates. Plus you can take rest actions which allow you to recycle 3 endurance cards instead
Unless
of
you're
Okay.
Newt, in which case it's 4.
That's right. Newt has a passive ability that allows her to recycle 4 cards every time she takes a rest action. But again, more on that when we get into it. For now, that is the end of Gorman's turn.
But I do need those 2
But
cards.
you do need your 2 endurance cards on your end of activation ability.
So let's see what we've got.
What we got?
Got a weapon and an equipment.
Nice. So they are now in your hand, which you may, in your next turn, equip endurance cards as step 3 of the marine phase. But you would have to pay, for example, well, the equipment
Equipment is a cost of
has a
0.
cost of nothing, so you can just go ahead and equip that straight away.
But the weapon,
The backup pistol, well, you'd have to exhaust 1 card in order to equip it.
yeah.
But there are other scenarios where it would tell you to exhaust cards from your hand in order to perform a certain action. So it's sometimes useful to keep
Yeah, I
dodgy
can
cards
exhaust.
in your
I can use these as a form of currency.
Yes,
Essentially.
exactly. Right,
Although
so
if we start running out of ammo, I will want to get them back into the pack.
yeah. So that's the end of your turn. You now pass the activation token on to whoever you want.
Or I activate some grunts,
Or you can activate grunts, yeah.
which
You
is
can
what
use your
I'm
rank.
going to do.
So Gorman's a lieutenant, which means he can activate 3 grunts.
I'm going to activate 2
Yeah.
because we have another officer with us who can activate 1.
Well, you have a private with you, but who's a character and can activate 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Vasquez can do that in her turn.
So the main bulk of the mission starts in this area here, so we need to get people into this area.
Yeah.
We also don't want to necessarily open doors.
Yes. These doors here, doors
Okay.
will open automatically when you move next to them.
I see.
Right, so if there was a blip token there and we stood next to this door, the door would open and we'd see what was under the blip. But there isn't any blip tokens in there. So we can stand here, this door will open and that's fine. But if we stand there, that door will open and then we reveal what's on the other side of that blip. And it might be something nasty with lots of teeth and claws.
I got it.
On the other hand, it might be Newt. So we do need to know what's there, but we don't.
But that's why we've moved Gorman over here to the computer terminal.
So that
because
he
can
can-
use the internal cameras to see what's under those blips.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. All right.
So, which grunt are you going to activate first?
Hudson.
Hudson. Okay,
So
turn
turn
over
Huds-
Hudson's activation token.
Like so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Hudson has a speed of 4, so he can move 4 spaces.
First thing we do, check his aim.
Yeah, well-
we set it right, but
It's set correctly, so the
Right.
aim dial has to match his aim skill, which has been done.
aim skill. Right, so he can move 4. So
Now, movement before you move in, you can move through other characters. You cannot move through aliens. If you end your turn adjacent to an alien, or if at any
Okay.
point during your move you end up next to an alien, your move immediately stops.
I see.
Right?
And do I die?
Well, if the alien attacks you, maybe.
All right.
You cannot shoot through other characters, but you can shoot through aliens. So if there's an alien there, and there's a stack of aliens here, you can shoot through that alien to get to that one. But only Vasquez could do that. Hicks back here could not shoot at either of those aliens because he's got no line of sight through Vasquez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
But if Hicks wanted to move, he could move 2 through Vasquez. That's fine. You just can't occupy the same square. You have to move through.
I'm imagining him somersaulting the other guy.
Yes. So, you're moving Hudson.
yes, I was.
Hudson has activated. Does he have any on activation abilities? He probably won't because he's a grunt.
No, he has
Okay.
nothing.
So, perform 2 actions.
His speed is 4, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to put him there
And not open the door.
and not open the door.
Okay. And he doesn't have rank, so because he's a grunt, so he can't activate any other grunts. You can activate another grunt since you can activate up to 3 with
Yep.
Gorman.
I will.
So you've got Frost or Hicks.
I'm going to move Frost, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Frost. So
Oh,
we-
hang on a second. I've just realised I've actually set this board up incorrectly because I am a bad Jingles. I forgot that in this mission we start with 2
Oh,
blips
he did.
in here.
What is that again? Blips?
Blips, 2
Yeah.
motion tracker blips. The motion tracker's picked up movement.
These
Here.
blips and these blips are very, very different.
Yeah, those ones don't move. They're only used in
Oh,
this
I see.
mission because one of them might be Newt. These ones will move,
Oh no. Okay.
and they will be aliens.
Okay.
Right.
It's just how many aliens they are.
And what about
Completely
that?
forgot about that. There's nothing in there other than an alien spawn point.
Oh,
So
okay.
when we turn over motion tracker cards, we're going to spawn alien blips at the 4 spawn points.
All right.
So anyway, Hudson's moved. You may activate. Was it Hicks or Frost?
I've forgotten who I said.
Doesn't matter because you haven't done it yet, so you can change your mind.
Right, Hicks it is then.
Okay, so turn over his activation token so we know he's been used.
Yeah.
His aim dial hasn't been touched yet, so you don't need to reset it. Just
Is
make
it
sure it's at
6?
the correct level. 6, cool. And now perform 2 actions with Hicks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm going to leave him there.
Okay. Bear in mind, I'm going to want to get Ripley in there as soon as possible.
That's why I've left room for you to move in. I'm now going to pass. He doesn't have any on, he doesn't have any off activation.
Yeah, you can't
I'm now
activate
going to
any other
pass
grunts.
over to Ripley.
Okay, so I take the activation token. Ripley is now the active character. So, Ripley does have on activation abilities. She can recycle 2 endurance cards, but we haven't exhausted any yet, so she can't do that. And draw 1 card. So I'm drawing a card from the endurance deck. It's a medical scanner. Nice. So that's really good. It doesn't cost any cards to use, and it allows you to exhaust this card, put it in the exhaust pile, to stand up any knocked down character. We'll see what that does when we actually start getting attacked by aliens. But that goes into Ripley's hand. So
That's
cool.
a good one to have back.
Nice one to have as a backup. One of Ripley's other abilities is once per turn, she can also exhaust a card to, if anybody's in close quarters with an alien and fails their defense roll, she can exhaust a card to allow that character to re-roll the defense roll, provided she's within 4 spaces. So these passive and activation abilities can be actually pretty powerful. Anyway, Ripley's aim dial has been reset to 7, which is her aim. I've resolved her on activation abilities and drawn a card. I'm not going to equip any of her endurance cards. She now gets to perform 2 actions. The reason it's important to get Ripley in there is because when we reveal Newt, she will run away from any Marines, but she won't run away from Ripley. And if she runs away, she could run into aliens.
Alright.
And that would be bad. Ripley, because she's the hero version of the character, has a speed of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, that door opens. 2, those doors do not open because she is not adjacent to them. Remember?
Yep.
These rounded corners block diagonal movement. And that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't want to open any of those doors and have it be an alien.
No.
Okay. So that was her 2 actions. She doesn't have any end of activation abilities. She doesn't have any rank because she's a civilian. I'm now going to pass the activation token onto Private Jeanette Vasquez.
Okie cookie. Digger pokey.
Now it should be stated this is the first time Rita has ever played this game.
Yes.
So we need to take it a little bit easier on her.
Yes. There may be some coaching.
Yeah.
So,
Right, what's the first thing you do?
checking your player guide. What's the first thing that you do?
Reset aim dial. All is good.
Yeah.
Resolve all on activation abilities.
So have a look at her card and say, is there anything that she does
See where
on
it says
activation?
on activation?
Take an aim action.
No.
No.
Or
What does
recyc-
it say?
Oh, passive or on
No,
activation?
the
On
on
activation.
activation bit.
Oh, reveal a card. Take
Right.
an aim action.
Wait.
Oh, so
Reveal a
that's-
card.
Okay.
Look over here.
Yeah.
Revealing a card means you take the top card of the endurance deck and
Alright.
you look and see what it is.
Da, 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 da. Ba-ba.
And it's a weapon.
All right.
Right, so,
So
if you
now-
look at that thing there, it has what you do if it's a weapon. What does it say?
Take aim action or recycle a card and draw a card.
No. It's a weapon card. Next to that, it literally just says
Oh,
take an action.
I get it. All right.
And if
So-
it's a equipment or event card, what is it? What do you do?
Recycle a card or draw
Yeah.
a card?
But it is a weapon card. So
Okay,
you
got
take
it.
an aim action.
So basically, your aim goes up to 9 now, rather than 8.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why it's really good.
So she now has a 90% chance of hitting whatever she shoots at.
Right.
Yeah. Now
I
because
think it's
we
over 90% because she's rolling 2
Oh, yeah,
dice.
she's rolling
It's
2
gonna be
dice.
95%.
So now that we have revealed a card, the card that you reveal goes onto the bottom of the endurance deck. We don't
Alright.
exhaust it. Right, we don't lose the card. And yes, there is a cat sitting behind me complaining very loudly that she's not getting any attention from her mama. It's okay,
No.
Kristen. Here we go. Yes, cute. Be a good kitty. Yes, you are. We got to get a chitty chin. Right. So, that was your on activation abilities. You may now equip endurance cards, but you don't have any cards in your hand yet, you haven't drawn any. So now you move on to step 4, perform up to 2 actions. So she can move, attack, barricade. I'm just saying, these are spawn points. Barricading spawn points would be a good idea, but it's a tech test and her tech skills are shit.
And why is there 1, 2, 4?
Because
on
there are
spawn
4
points?
potential locations.
Oh, I see.
When you turn those over, it will tell you
right.
where they're spawning. 1, 2, 3 or 4.
I'll look at the bottom card of the motion tracker deck.
Because we're never getting to that.
Because we're never getting to the bottom. There are 3, actually, now would be a good time. With the motion tracker deck, you can tell just how bad it's going to be by looking at it. So there's a few blips on there, but there's a lot more blips on there. You might get a card that doesn't have, hardly has any blips on it. That gives you some idea, without knowing exactly what's on the other side of the card. The number of blips on it gives you some idea of how bad that card is going to be. Now, because this is the first mission, I take 5 of the not very dangerous motion tracker cards and 5 of the reasonably dangerous motion tracker cards, shuffle them together, and they are the top 10 cards on the motion tracker deck.
Okay.
So there are no really bad motion tracker cards in
Got
the
it.
top 10 cards on the motion tracker deck. When you turn over a motion tracker card, for example this one on the bottom, tells me to place 2 blips on spawn point 2. And each of those blips could be up to 5 aliens.
Ooh, okay.
It also says that if this card's blips are placed on a spawn point in line of sight of a character, you have to discard 4 cards, which means remove them from the exhaust pile, get rid of them, you never get them back. So that is a really, really bad card. Fortunately, for the moment, it's right on the bottom of the motion tracker card. But that's why the spawn points. That's where the aliens are going to come from.
Right.
So a couple of things to bear in mind. Vasquez's tech skill is pretty shit, so barricading maybe isn't the best use of her abilities, but there are aliens coming from here. These blips are going to move straight towards the nearest character.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, because I see no doors
Yep.
in this corridor.
There's a
and
door
maybe
there.
Stay on watch.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Yeah?
So
Alright.
what's her speed? You're going to take 2 actions.
Speed is 4.
Okay, so she can move 4 spaces.
Okay, where is she? Vasquez?
Vasquez is the one with the really big gun.
Alright. 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4. Yeah?
Yeah. Bear in mind, line of fire.
Yeah.
That's the closest she can actually shoot at from there. But there's nothing there for her to shoot at. So what else is she going to do? You've got another action.
Oh,
You can move another 4 spaces if you want.
alright. I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you were there, yeah? Bearing in mind, anything that comes through that door...
No, I was here.
Okay. Well, anything that comes through that door, although at the moment they're probably going to go for frost, although you can activate frost.
Yes, that's why I left it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But there's no range penalty here. So you stand just as much chance of shooting an alien that comes through that door if you're here
Oh, I see.
as you are if you're here.
Got it. I got it. Alright.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
And that's the end of her. Well, it's not the end of her turn, it's the end of her action.
Yes.
Does she have any end of activation
Flip
abilities?
that over as well.
Is it just a passive and a non-activation ability?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so she has no end of activation ability. She may now use her rank to activate the one remaining grunt who has not been activated.
Okay.
Prime
Frost has doesn't have a very good, but has quite a high tech for a grunt. So it's worth really putting him where I've put Hudson.
Well, you can do it from the square next to it.
Yes.
It's adjacent.
Yeah, so
So
I would
you
recommend.
want to barricade that.
Yeah,
You
that's what I recommend.
That's up to you, though.
Because you're controlling them.
Yeah, sure. So I can bring him there.
Yes.
Well, what's his speed?
1 second. Hudson.
That's Hudson. Well, this is Frost.
Frost. Where's Frost?
Frost is the one.
Sorry.
Here, I'm going to turn his.
4.
Okay.
So you can move him 4 with 1 action.
Okay. But
But does he have any on-activation abilities? He's the only grunt that actually has an ability, and I think it's just a passive.
It is a
passive, yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. So straight into actions. You've got 2 actions. What are you doing with him?
I was wondering because I mean, if there's a spawn point from there, why not keep him on watch towards that way?
Because he's got a flamethrower, and it can only be used from 2 spaces away.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's a close range weapon. It's
Yeah.
also an.
I understand now
you know
why.
what we did with this here? That wouldn't work if we'd done it with him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I understand why he should be
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, let's bring him over then. How many? 4.
Yeah.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And can he go again or is just
Yes,
one move?
he has
That's,
another go.
he's got 2 actions.
Right.
That was 1.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so we
Right,
can't.
so
That's it done.
That's
Can't
him done
do
for that
anything
go, but next go,
He's aiming at the spot though.
there without actually taking an aim action because he's used his 2 actions. Okay, so that's Now you pass the activation token, but everybody has now been activated. That is the end of the marine phase. You now move into the alien phase.
Da-da-da.
So the first thing we do in the alien phase is activate blips. There are only 2 blips on the board. Well, technically there are 6 blips on the board, but these ones never move. So Eddie's got the alien die, and what you do is for each section of the board, so this is a section, that's one, and that's one. For each section that contains a blip, you roll how far all of the blips in that section are going to move using the alien die. So they can move up to 6.
so we want a low roll here.
Okay.
That'll do. So the blips move 1, 2, 1, 2. None of the blips are in line of sight of a character, so the blips do not get revealed. Next, well, actually, the first thing that we should have done was activate aliens, but there are no aliens on the board.
Yeah.
Then we would activate the blips. Then we would draw motion tracker cards. But in this scenario and this scenario only, you do not draw motion tracker cards
On
until
turn 1
3.
or 2.
So that is the end of the alien phase. We now go into turn 2.
Turn 2.
Right.
I'll take that back.
Same deal as before.
Turn all the tokens back to
All of the activation tokens get turned back over.
How many total turns are there?
As
in
many
a
as
game?
as many as it
Okay.
takes.
Okay.
There are 6 on there, but as we know, when we play badly, we can
All right.
Keep going.
keep going.
So we turn over all of the activation tokens to the green side
Got
to
it.
indicate that the characters have not yet activated. Gorman has the highest rank. He is the first one to go. So you can either use Gorman or choose to pass the activation token on.
I'm going to use Gorman.
I'm assuming that you're going to. Let's go through the. Does he have any on activation abilities?
He does not.
Okay. Do you wish to equip any of those endurance cards?
I do not.
You may now perform 2 actions. I assume they're going to be 2 tech tests
They
in order
are.
to find out what's on the other side of those blips.
What we're going to do is because coming past here, we're going to have to open one of these doors and reveal these 2.
Yeah.
We only want to go up one side, so it's best to do the 2 at the back, I think.
What, those 2?
These 2 at the back, because
Well, I'm going to
one-
have to. No, that is a terrible idea because Ripley's going to have to open one of those doors to get there.
yeah, but as soon as I turn one of those over and it's an alien, that door's getting opened anyway. This way, at least there's a little running room. If one of them is Newt.
Wait, but okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But
yeah.
given that it's a square, that square is not touching that door.
No, but it will open that
But
door.
yeah,
and
in
reveal
order
that.
to get
Oh.
past, if Newt is one of these 2, then in order to get past, we're going to have to open one of these either way. So if Newt's one of those, at least we know which side we need to run up to save
Yes.
to not open both
Okay.
of them.
So you go for it. Tell me which one you want to.
I'm going to go that one.
That one. Okay, so now you take
My tech
your-
skill is 6.
So you now need to roll 6 or lower on 1 marine die. Gorman, you are just as shit today as you were the last time we played you. That's your first action. You're going to try again.
Yep, I'm going to try again. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, the first one could have been a 6 if you look at it.
No, there was a line under it telling you it was a 9.
So Gorman is just as shit today as he is every time we use him.
His dice roll always goes wrong.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't go wrong for the others.
You always were an asshole, Gorman. Right, so do you have any end of activation
I do.
abilities?
I need 2 cards.
2 cards. There you
I
go.
need to also turn Gorman over as an activity.
So what have you got?
I have got a pistol and an event. The event is reveal a card.
And depending on what it is, a whole bunch of different things happen.
Yes.
Squad of Ultimate Badasses card. It's not bad.
I'll let you.
It costs you 2 cards to actually play this, but it's good stuff. Each Marine character can take an aim action. If you reveal an equipment card, if you reveal an event card, each Marine character moves up to 2 spaces in any direction. If you reveal a weapon card, each Marine character may draw an endurance card. So that's a really... It costs you have to exhaust 2 cards to use it, but it's a nice card to have.
Yes, and it's also, if you don't want to use it, a nice one to pay
spend
with.
it. Yeah, you can pay for other actions with it.
Right, now...
So, you may now use your rank to activate grunts.
I'm going to. I think I'm going to activate Frost first and see if we can barricade that.
Cool. So, Frost has no on-activation abilities. Flip this token over. There we go, Frosty.
Right, he
what's
has
his
a
tech
tech
skill?
skill of 5, so I now need to try and roll 5 or less.
Yes.
Ready?
There we
That'll
go,
do.
that's a 1.
We've now barricaded
That is now barricaded, which means that any aliens that spawn on 1 only have a 50-50 chance of actually spawning. If they fail to break through the barricade, then they just don't spawn.
Alright.
But if they do break through the barricade is removed and they do spawn.
Right.
So that was his first action.
Yes, he's now... We don't have any cards
There's
to
no point in
exhaust, so
resting
there's
him.
no point in resting him. There's no point taking an aim action because he's too far away with a flamethrower to do anything.
You don't have to use both of his actions.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to end it there.
Okay.
If I'm on it. In fact, no, yeah, I'm just going to end it there.
Okay, cool. So that's your first grunt activated. You can
That is.
activate up to 2 more.
Right.
We have Hicks and we have Hudson.
Okay.
Hudson's got a good tech skill, but he's too far away from the terminal to be able to use it right now.
Yes. Quite honestly, I don't think moving any of the grunts at this point is going to help us.
No, I
Because
agree.
Ripley's going to have to reveal something, and we want them there to. I think they're all in the right place. Had some of these turned over,
But they didn't because Gorman's shit.
yes. So what I think I'm actually going to do is end it right there,
Okay.
and I'm going to pass to you.
Right. So, Ripley now activates. Ripley, I'll turn her activation token over, revealing the red side. So there's the, just for the sake of those of you who don't know what these actually look like, they're really cool little acrylic tokens. Ripley, E. Green side to indicate that she has not yet activated. Red side with a quote from the character. These are all the same quotes from the various different characters. Get away from her. Leaves off the you bitch bit at the end. Red side, Ripley has been activated. So on activation, I recycle 2 endurance cards. We haven't actually exhausted any yet. And I draw 1 card. So the card that I draw is a smart gun. I'm definitely not going to equip this because you have to exhaust 3 cards to fire a smart gun. Unless you're Vasquez.
Oh, I see. Alright.
And it also, you have to exhaust 3 cards to equip it. It's a big ass weapon. But I'll keep that in my hand because I can always use that later to pay for other actions with a card from my hand. So, Ripley is up. There's her on activation abilities. I'm not equipping any endurance cards. I may now perform up to 2 actions. I'm going to move. Ripley moves to there. That door opens. This turns over. It is 1 alien. Right. That was her first action. Her second action...
Well, she hasn't. She can still move if you wanted to.
I can, yeah. That hasn't actually ended her action. That would only end her first move.
Yeah.
She moved 1. She can still move a further 3.
Yes.
And that alien will then come out straight towards the nearest character in the alien phase, which doesn't necessarily have to be Ripley. We've got a bunch of badasses sitting here ready to kill
Yeah.
it. So I reckon I move Ripley further down and do that.
I think you do as well.
So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speed because she's a badass. And
Where was that? Here?
other side of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, up 1. There it is.
Ah.
Now, if I move her to the next door and reveal that one as well, I've got a 33% chance it's going to be Newt.
Yes.
But Ripley will get to do defensive fire. She won't be able to attack because that will be her second move. If
Yeah.
I reveal that and it's an alien. The alien will attack in the alien turn, but... Actually, I know what I'm going to do. Right, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So if you move Ripley down all the way to the bottom of the corridor.
Right.
1, 2, 3. The second she passes that door, that turns over. It
It's
is Newt.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Right, Newt now gets replaced with the Newt model.
Do you know, if I got that right, that was
Yes,
the one I was trying to turn
That was
over.
the first one you were going to turn over.
If Gorman wasn't such a dickhead.
So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now she can't do anything now. She has to take an action to try to calm Newt down. But Newt will not run away from her. She will run away from a Marine. She won't run away from Ripley. And because Ripley, I'm using the hero version of Ripley. I now get to use the hero version of Newt. And Newt has some really useful abilities. I mean, there's the grunt version. She's got a speed of 4, a defense of 5, and a tech skill of 2. Newt cannot equip weapons, but she can equip equipment. The hero version of Newt, because I've found her with the hero version of Ripley, can recycle extra endurance cards, and at the end of her activation she can exhaust 2 cards to move any character within line of sight 2 spaces towards her. She's also got the most badass defense skill, so she's actually the best character for defending against alien melee attacks. But I now take control of Newt. Well, I don't, I have to first calm her down.
But you will take
But I will take control of Newt. So that is the end of Ripley's go.
Does she have any end of action?
She has no end of activation abilities. She has passive, but it doesn't come into effect. She doesn't have any rank. She cannot activate grunts. We now pass the activation token on to Private Jeanette Vasquez.
Cookie. Let's
So,
rock. So, what?
She hasn't fired her gun, so there's no on activation things that we have. So she doesn't have to
You
reset
do need
her
to
aim
reset.
dial.
Yeah, but
Oh yes,
time-
actually, yeah, you do need to reset your aim dial back to 8.
Oh, I see.
Because you took an aim action in the last turn, didn't you?
You got given it when
But I
you.
didn't fire.
But it
Doesn't matter. At the beginning of each turn, you reset it to what it's on there.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of weapons are these?
But then,
The first thing that you do in every phase is step 1, reset your aim dial.
Okay.
Stop arguing and do it.
Alright, so...
Now, any on activation abilities, have a look at a card. And there is one. You get to reveal a card. And depending on what it is, you get to do certain things. And the card is,
What?
it's equipment. So what does it tell you to do? No, not that
not on
card.
the, yeah.
Yes.
Just pass that card back to Jingles. He'll deal with that.
Green or recycle a card and draw a card?
Right. So there are no cards to recycle, but you may now draw a card.
Okay.
You get
This
to
one
put
now
that
goes
in
into your hand, and it's an equipment. It's a helmet.
Okay.
Helmets are good. They allow you, if an alien grapples you and you fail your defense roll, the helmet allows you to reveal a card, and if it's a green card, you've passed the defense roll. So that's a 1 in 3 chance of not actually getting eaten by an alien.
Yeah, that's good because the beeps are coming.
Yes.
So
that's in your hand.
Yeah,
right?
you can't put it
equip
on yet.
You can pay.
You-
Because actually the next step is equip endurance cards.
Yes.
So you could exhaust the cost of this card, which is 2. You could exhaust 2 cards in order to equip that on Vasquez.
and how many rounds does it last?
Forever.
Okay.
Unless you try to use it and you turn over a weapon card, in which case you exhaust that card. But
I see.
that's the only circumstance in which you'd lose that helmet.
Alright. But
So-
don't I already have a weapon?
You have a weapon, but that's not a weapon, it's a piece of equipment. Have a look at the...
So
Okay, hold on. Let me just, for the benefit, just to explain what she's getting confused about.
yeah.
Here is the player card. Backup weapon goes there. Main weapon goes there. 2 pieces of equipment. So you can equip up to 2 pieces of equipment, which you place here, a backup weapon, and a main weapon.
Okay.
The smart gun is a bulky main weapon, which means you cannot equip a backup, but you can equip up to 2 pieces of equipment.
I probably should equip these as soon as possible before they reach me though.
Well, you're probably going to annihilate them before they get anywhere near you, but it's always a good idea to have some body armour.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But-
quite honestly, she's our best fighter
Yeah.
by a
And now,
long
now
way.
that you have resolved your on activation abilities, you may now equip endurance cards. So do you want to exhaust 2 cards to equip that on Vasquez?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably best.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
we
now
agree.
So now you put that in one of the equipment slots next to Vasquez's card.
There.
There
yes.
you go.
Okay.
I thought for a second it was about to become your backup.
I'm now exhausting 2 equipment cards. Rita's now paid the price for that, but we can get cards back from the exhaust part.
that
That's fine.
isn't a worry.
Alright.
We cannot get cards back from the discard
third
part.
place.
In fact, as she can at the end of her turn control Hudson, she can control Hudson. He can take a rest action,
Yeah.
and we can literally put those straight back into
Yeah.
the because he's in the position we want him in.
Okay.
Why the hell would we move him? But we might as well use him.
You have now equipped endurance cards. You may now perform up to 2 actions.
Okay. I think I'll wait for the aliens to come to me.
Sounds like a good plan. Do you want to just aim twice?
Okay, how does that go? So I roll the dice, yeah?
No. An aim action is you use one of your 2 actions to just aim your weapon.
Okay.
Every time you aim the weapon, you increase the aim dial by 1.
I will do that then.
So you
So
now increase her aim dial by 2.
Okay, 10.
She now cannot miss with her first shot.
That's a lot of
It
damage.
is physically impossible.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
So that's the end of the action.
Does she have any end of activation abilities? No, just a passive and a non-activation. She
Okay.
may now use her rank to activate a grunt.
Okay.
Hicks or Hudson.
Hicks
it
or
doesn't
Hudson
really
still haven't
matter.
activated.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
I reckon the best thing to do with them, because that alien is going to come out and go for them because they're the closest, is to just aim.
Yeah, just aim.
One of them
Sit tight.
rests so you can have the
Newt
cards
can
back.
recycle 8 of these cards per turn,
Right, fair
as long
enough.
as she's
Okay.
not moving. Don't worry
Yeah, I'll
about
just aim.
Okay, in which case aim to put there.
Where's Frost? No,
that.
that's Frost is that fella.
Frost is back here.
The
So,
Hicks.
Hicks and Hudson.
Where's the Hicks? Is it
Hicks, sorry, yeah, this is Hicks. So you're
Activate.
using him. And you're
Hudson's
gonna,
right.
but she can only
Hudson's
do
right
one.
there. Oh, you can only do one. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
So you're just aiming twice with. Okay,
there? Yes, please.
So Hicks
so
is
he's
now at 8.
Alright.
up to 8
Cool. And that, I believe,
is the end of
is
our.
the end of our turn.
Yes.
So, we're still in turn 2, but now it's the alien phase in turn 2. So the first thing we do is we activate any aliens. There is only one alien on the board yet. There are some blips, but they have not yet been revealed as aliens. Aliens always move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Hicks and Hudson are now engaged in combat, but they get to make defensive fire rolls. So, Hicks just aimed twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Hicks now, because he's using a pulse rifle, we're finally in combat. So why don't you do it so you can learn how this works. So don't roll it just yet. The first thing that you have to do is you look at the pulse rifle that hit, well actually that's Hudson. Well, it's the same pulse rifle, they both have pulse rifles. You look at the pulse rifle, this is a full auto weapon, you must exhaust 1 card to fire. So, I exhaust 1 card from the endurance deck, I put it in the exhaust pile. You may now fire at that alien and try to get under his current aim dial. Easy, the alien has been blown away.
Ah, yeah, baby.
We now reduce Hicks's aim dial by 1.
It's now on 7.
Yes. Cool. There are now no further aliens on the board, so we move to step 2, activate blips. Eddie, if you want to roll the dice for the 2 blips.
Get on!
So they both move 1.
I
Nobody,
told you, it's literally only Gorman that
Yeah.
can't roll a
Yeah.
dice.
They're terrified of Vasquez, that's what it is.
I don't blame
They're
you.
like, I don't want to go near her, she's got a really big gun and she looks very angry. She looks positively Portuguese.
Well. PBS, PBS.
Okay. Step 3, draw motion tracker cards.
This is turn 2, we don't do that yet.
So we will only draw motion tracker cards beginning next turn. So that's
Okay.
the end of the turn 2. Eddie, advance the turn dial. And I think that's where we're going to have to end this one today. I hope you've enjoyed it, but we will pick up from where we left off in a future video. Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps, has been a lot of fun to play, and this is just the first of 3 campaign scenarios, with a potential extra 2 for a total of 5, depending on whether or not any of your Marines get dragged off kicking and screaming to the alien nest and you decide to go in and rescue them, or how badly you deplete your endurance deck and elect to embark on a supply mission in order to replenish your endurance deck. As well as that, it comes with a bunch of optional one-shot bug hunt missions. And then, of course, there's the Get Away From Her, You Bitch expansion, which continues the story all the way back up to the final encounter with the alien queen on board the Solanco. So, plenty more to come. Hope you've enjoyed this one. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.